There's a left and a right to this. I don't know which is which right now. But this is pretty obvious. This is where this goes. Maybe not. Maybe so, yeah. And then we got a special brake bolt here that goes through it all. And this is going to hold the caliper onto the bracket. This is a really good kit. They've even protected the threads with a little piece of PVC tubing. That was a lucky one. It went right in without hitting my bracket. Alright, so looks like I lucked out right off the bat. Sticking out quite a ways, but they'll screw down in right in flush with the plate. I'm not going to bother trying to dig up an Allen wrench at this point. They're just finger tight. So I think even if I use my inside one, see, I got plenty of room here. Put a bolt on that, that'll work just fine. So looks like the instructions say I have to cut it a little. I would assume it'd be right in here where it's touching the edge of the axle. I think I might just grind it just a little bit just for safety's sake. Make sure that this caliper's not pinched in any way. Feels pretty loose, but it's definitely just contacting it just a hair right there, so maybe a 1/16 of an inch needs to come off of that. But that looks like where everything's going to go. Oh, I had a 50-50 chance of it being the right one. Probably if I'd have looked at it a little bit, I would have known what I was doing. Yeah, see, this is going to point up now. So I'll just get these things are pretty precisely cut for the caliper, so they gotta be in both sides at the same time. Yeah, that's good. And this one went in well. Yeah. Everything's good, nothing's binding. Screwing right in, finger look tight. I won't even have to grind that with this one here on it, flipped around. Looks like I've got, 100 thousandths or something like that in there. And this is going to keep my, it'll have the flat style hoses like this. And I don't think it'll interfere too much here. Once this keeper doohickey goes in here. Where my nuts went, but normally there's sort of an acorn bolt that goes on here. This doesn't have it. These are just, just regular old things. I don't have my kingpin in right, but probably what'll happen, I'll have like a 1/2 inch here. And it looks like it'll contact it about right here somewhere. And if it's wrong, I can put another nut or something so my brake caliper's not actually limiting my travel. But from straight on to where it would hit, I don't know, I guess that's about 45 degrees. That's a pretty sharp turn for a wheel. I don't think I'll have any trouble steering the thing. And I think this setup is going to be just fine. It's a lot better than the old one. And I'm glad I spent, cost probably another $400 to get all this stuff rather than try to get old 44 brakes on it. But with this blown Hemi in it, or blown motor, it ought to be going really fast. So that's one of my main concerns, is good front brakes. Back brakes is not that important, but the front brakes are very important. And it looks the same on this side as it did. Everything's turning real well. So finally something went right here. I didn't have to touch nothing. I have to press my spindles on my races and stuff like that. And they came, this for a change came with a good set of instructions. It is from Speedway. Yeah, 37-48 Ford spindles, 11-inch rotors. So it's got a good set of instructions here and a decent picture, so I shouldn't have any trouble assembling this and making it work really well. Now the next thing, I guess I know that this all works, I'm going to pull that axle out of there and clean it up and paint it, because I don't want to be putting all this stuff in it and then me trying to paint around all this nice new stuff. And so I put the brakes here in the front. I think pretty much always the brakes are in the back, but I don't see where that would make any difference, because the physics is still gonna turn the thing clockwise no matter where it is on the circle once it grabs. I suppose it would put a little more weight towards the front of the car instead of the back of the car. Might look a little better. Might look better in the back, because this will all be kind of hid back here, and the front will be open. But it'll definitely solve any kind of interference problem here. My right turn, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same. My brake will stop it here. Don't have any kind of a bump stop here in the front, but it'll stop about there, and that looks like it's about, well, maybe, I think a little more than on the other side. And this will give me a real clean shot right here with my stuff. I don't know which would be best. Maybe there's a reason brakes are in the back. I may be wrong, but it seems like they're always in the back. I don't know, I was just looking at this and thinking about what I should do. I was hoping this would give me a little more turning radius, but it looks like I'm going to be limited to hitting it here or hitting it in the back. Depends on where I put my caliper. And I tried thinking about switching sides, and now I got my brake hose pointing down is all. I'll have exactly the same problem basically.